My name is Elizabeth Ashman, and I am entering my second year at Church Divinity School of the Pacific. I'm a postulant from the Diocese of Alaska. The Society for the Increase of Ministry is providing money for seminarians to complete their education. With the current changes in how seminary is working and the demographics of who's coming into seminary, increasingly there are more people like myself who are young people coming straight out of undergraduate school, which means they're coming in with debt already and not having savings to pay for things like graduate education. We spend 3 years here and an exponential amount of money trying to get through this required education, and the education is necessary and important to train future ministers. The problem is that seminaries, like every other institution, are suffering from the current economy. And the same thing is going on with the national church in our diocese, which means there's not enough money out there to get people through the education they need to obtain their Masters of Divinity. So places like the Society for the Increase of Ministry are providing support for seminarians to get through and have a better qualified and educated future leaders in the church. The Society for the Increase of Ministry and other institutions like it need to exist if future leaders in the church, future priests and deacons, are going to be able to get through their education. If we want well-trained people to be leading our church, then we need to continue having individuals go through seminary, and the burden of cost has to get absorbed somewhere. And Society for the Increase of Ministry does their part in helping us not come out of this with more debt than we can handle, and helping bring new leaders into the church who otherwise might not be able to afford answering their calling. And it allows us to have more freedom with the jobs we take when we get out of school, not having to take a job necessarily to pay off the debt that we would incur if we weren't receiving grants such as this. In terms of education, it's keeping the Episcopal tradition strong. It's guiding us in terms of making sure we understand our tradition, and not just our tradition from the standpoint of where we grew up and what our parish interpreted the Episcopal tradition to be, but having the history, the background, the continuous worship preparation, field education, everything else that goes into being Episcopal or Anglican, and also being in a community of Episcopalians, sharing the experience of other people, going through the process, living with them for 3 years, and forming that community such as we have at Church Divinity School of the Pacific. We have a strong community with a strong faculty in the Episcopal and Anglican tradition, which means we graduate knowing our tradition and our identity very well as being exposed to the other denominations and faiths by being at the Graduate Theological Union.